In 2025, the global silicon carbide power hierarchy suffered a violent, irreversible inversion. For years, the American titan, Wolfspeed, held an absolute monopoly over the global high-voltage semiconductor market. But leaked industry data reveals a brutal new reality. A Chinese company named SICC, also known as Tianyue Advanced, has aggressively captured over 50% of the global 8-inch SiC substrate market. This was not a gradual shift. It was a hostile technological takeover. When I looked at the raw engineering data, I found a cognitive dissonance that shatters Western market consensus. The prevailing narrative claims that Chinese dominance in new energy vehicles relies solely on state subsidies. Yet the data shows that SICC has pushed its liquid phase 8-inch SiC substrate yield rate to an astonishing 85%. Meanwhile, industry reports suggest that Wolfspeed's mass production yield for 8-inch wafers has languished below 40%. Their flagship Mohawk Valley factory is suffering from a catastrophic 20% equipment utilization rate, which perfectly explains their recent stock market collapse. What is the hidden driving force behind this massive yield gap? How did Chinese engineering bypass decades of Western patent walls? The underlying logic is not about isolated breakthroughs. It is about the systemic, bottom-up engineering of an impenetrable supply chain, from microscopic carbon powder to 12-inch crystal growth furnaces. Let's be clear about the engineering reality. Upgrading to an 800-volt architecture isn't just a software patch. It requires components that can survive extreme thermal and electrical stress. Silicon carbide is the holy grail here. It increases charging efficiency by 2 to 3 times, reduces energy loss by 75%, and pushes motor efficiency past the 97% barrier. But making an 8-inch SiC wafer is notoriously difficult. Unlike standard silicon, which is simply melted and pulled, silicon carbide must be grown from a vapor at over 2000 degrees Celsius in a sealed graphite crucible. You cannot see inside. If the temperature fluctuates by even a fraction of a degree, or if the thermal stress distribution is uneven, microscopic crystal defects multiply. By the time you slice the crystal into wafers, it shatters. This is why the yield rate is the ultimate arbiter of survival. Here is how Chinese engineers solved this. Companies like SICC and TanKeBlue rebuilt the growth methodology from the ground up. SICC secured 194 invention patents, focusing on the exact root cause of wafer failure, residual internal stress. By utilizing advanced numerical simulations combined with enhanced forced convection and hemispherical radiation shields, they stabilized the temperature uniformity at the growth interface. This localized temperature control directly translates to flat, low-damage single crystals. The result? SICC's substrate cost is now 33 to 40% lower than Wolfspeed's. TanKeBlue followed suit, slashing their single wafer production cost by 37% year over year. But high yields in a laboratory are useless without mass production capability, and this is where the West's ultimate choke point failed. For decades, the critical MOCVD machines were fiercely monopolized by Germany's Aixtron and America's Veeco. Operating an Aixtron machine costs up to 100,000 Chinese yuan per hour just to run. And here is the geopolitical kill shot. The US Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security has continuously weaponized export controls, aiming to paralyze China's wide-bandgap semiconductor ambitions. Instead of capitulating, the Chinese supply chain initiated a ruthless, vertical integration protocol. When I analyzed the exact equipment being installed in China's newest 12-inch pilot lines, the findings were staggering. Jingsheng Mechanical and Electrical now controls over 60% of the domestic crystal growth furnace market. Their newest processing line operates with over 90% domestically developed equipment. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. If your SiC powder contains even a trace of oxygen or metal impurities, the crystal collapses. Today, SICC utilizes a proprietary synthesis process, baking raw silicon and carbon up to 1,800 degrees Celsius. The result is powder with a purity of 99.9999%. Even the basic consumables were monopolized. Just 2 years ago, German and French manufacturers dominated the carbon felt market. But my research shows that domestic Tier 2 suppliers like Fangda Carbon completely broke this stranglehold. They achieved the critical trifecta required for semiconductor-grade thermal fields, pushing density greater than 1.73 grams per cubic centimeter. This level of supply chain autonomy is the true mechanism of China's dominance. Every single node, from Dongni Electronics supplying 30% of the world's diamond-cutting wire to Nora Technology dominating the etching equipment market, has been aggressively secured. By completely localizing the equipment and raw materials, China has insulated its 800-volt ecosystem from foreign interference. But silicon carbide is only half of the equation. To truly dominate the next decade of electric vehicles, you need extreme inverter efficiency paired with next-generation energy density. While Western media is distracted by tariff debates, my team has released an exclusive 15-page intelligence brief on the other half of this revolution, BYD's solid-state battery architecture. Inside, we bypass the PR hype to provide an unvarnished benchmarking of BYD against Toyota and QuantumScape. For the investors watching, we have mapped the hidden Tier 2 supply chain behind this tech, tracking down the exact market tickers. Scan the QR code on the screen right now, or visit voltchina.net to get the free intelligence brief and complete your view of the Chinese EV threat. With an average 8-inch SIC yield rate crossing 72.5% across the domestic industry, the unit cost per wafer has plummeted to roughly $1,900. This cost destruction is what allows Chinese automakers to push 800-volt silicon carbide inverters down into $30,000 mass-market vehicles, while Western giants desperately try to engineer them out. We are witnessing the textbook definition of a technological coup. The physical limits have been pushed, the equipment monopolies dismantled, and the intellectual property walls scaled. Do you think legacy Western semiconductor giants can restructure their operations fast enough to compete with this highly integrated Chinese supply chain? Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe to master the world's fastest-moving tech market before your competitors do.